morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst. I'm substituting for Rav Reuven Levitt's Gemora shir, courtesy of Tsama Nafshi, located here in Yeshiva Kodesh. We're learning about the comment this morning, and Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi is located not too far from the central bus station, so you can walk from there, drive if you have a car, certainly take a bus. If you're coming from Furst, please join us for our share. We'd love to have you and have you participate in our program here. Okay, I'm not mistaken, Mem Gimel on the base, correct?
Mem Gimel
Mem Dalet on the base? Mem Gimel on the base. Last time I was with you, we picked up from the Teku, right?
Oh, yeah,
that was Kiata Rav Dimi. And now, so where are we?
We're in Tan Rabbanan, about 5 lines from the bottom.
Tan Rabbanan, okay, very good. Who'd like to read over the Gemora?
I'll read.
Sure, please go ahead.
Tan Rabbanan.
Unless someone else prefers.
Anybody else prefer?
No, go ahead.
We're with you.
Tan Rabbanan. We're learning a brisa. Obein yigach, obas yigach. Whether a boy or a girl are gored, lechayev al hakitanim kigidolim, to make liable for a child, just like an adult.
So now, again, this is a limud. They have in the Torah that says, "Oh ben yigach, oh bas yigach," right? So this is coming to teach us there's a chiyuv whether the victim was a katan, a young child, or gadol, whether they were above bar mitzvah. There's no difference in terms of the chiyuv. Chiyuv of what? What chiyuv are we referring to here?
What is it? Kofir.
Kofir. Okay, so that if a shore will kill a child or a gadol, right, by goring, right, whether ben or bas,
The shore is stone.
the shore gets skila, and that's what Rashi says exactly. Very good. Rashi says the 3 lines up from the bottom of the Rashis. Shalom, good morning. Good to see you.
Shlomo sends his greeting.
Thank you. Very important.
Right from the bus stop.
Okay.
Close the door.
Thank you, Shlomo.
Oh, that's what
Rashi says, Chayev ala ketanim skila, meaning the shore, right, which made a death victim out of a child, is chayev skila just as it would be as if it killed a adult. Right?
Why did they say kofir, that the valve of the shore, if it's muad,
yeah,
it's kofir, it doesn't belong here?
Why isn't kofir mentioned over here?
This is Haradin.
Because there's no kofir if you kill a person.
Well, let's see. The owner of the shore is going to have to pay, right? Won't he? Right?
But this is saying the case of a shore is like the case of a person killing a person. When a person kills a person, there's no kofir. So you can't say that just like the case of a person killing a person, you pay kofir, because you don't pay kofir if a person kills a person.
When a person kills a person.
Right.
Right.
Comparing those two.
At this point that we're making a comparison?
I believe so.
Again, what we said, Tanur about it, O ben yigach, O bas yigach. Lechayev ala ketanim kigedolim. Okay, and so far at this point, meaning, well, we'll see further in the Gemora, but at this point, we see there's a chiyuv, as Rashi says, a skila, right, whether the victim was a katan, whether he was a gadol. The shore is eliminated.
It's going to say that next. So
so hold on.
I think Rashi is anticipating that. But sure.
Well, I'm not sure. Rashi is just saying what the chiyuv ala ketanim is, meaning what's trained. Meaning if a shore kills an adult, right? So there's a chiyuv skila, right? So how do we know that if a shore would kill a katan, there would also be skila? So that's what we learned from this pasuk. O ben yigach, o bas yigach.
Right. So your Rachmiel's question is why don't we learn kofir?
Right. Okay,
just like with
Why
the adult.
isn't
you
it
pay
talking about
kofar.
the owner of the ox,
Mhm.
as opposed to the ox itself?
Right. Okay, so well, let's hold on to that.
Maybe it's understood, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, what's the? Let's give the Gemora a chance, and we'll see. Let's give it some thought. Hold on. Let's continue on.
The hello, and is it not din, logical?
V'halo dinhu, is it not logical?
Logical?
I mean, can we not make a logical deduction? I mean, the question is, why do we need to learn this from a pasuk? If you learn from a pasuk, that seems to indicate that it's something that we wouldn't think logically on our own, and the Torah is coming to tell us something special, which is beyond our logic, meaning it's above our logic, right? And it's a chiddush min hakra, it's something which is a insight from the Torah itself. But if it's something which is logical, then we don't necessarily have to have a pasuk from the Torah to teach us that, right? The din who is not logical that this we understand this according to logic, and which that's the case. What do I need the Torah to tell me about it?
Ho'il, since the chayev adam ba'adam, we have an obligation when a person kills a person. The chayev shor ba'adam, in the case of a shor killing a person, ma kishechayav adam, just as a person has an obligation when he kills a person, b'adam, lo shna, is it not this even more so? Vein kitanim ligedolim.
Well, is there no difference between ketanim and gedolim? Meaning, just like we have a chiyuv of an adam when he kills another adam, and there's a chiyuv of a shur, an ox, when he kills an adam, right? So therefore, just as when an adam kills an adam, there's no difference whether the victim was a katan or a gadol, right? So af kishechayev shur, right? Therefore, okay, af.
Even so, kishechayev, that he should be liable, a shur should be liable, but Adam, in the case of a man, lo
Tichaluk.
tichaluf,
Tichaluk.
tachaluk, tachluk bo.
Bein ketanim.
Ben kintani
Gedolim.
libidolim.
Stop there. Yes.
So so too? Isn't there an obligation in the case of a shor that kills a person, the same for an adult and a child?
Okay, 1 second. So let's review. Again, Tana Rabbanan, it says in the Torah, Ben Yigach o Bas Yigach, whether it's a Ben, a male that's gored, or Bas, or a daughter or a girl that's gored, L'chayev al ketanim ki gedolim, like Rashi says, that the shore that kills will get skila, whether it killed ketanim, young ones, or adults, just like they are killed with the killing of an adult, it's killed the shore by killing of a katan, a young child. Or then halo dinu, the Gemora says it's not logical, meaning we don't need the pasuk. We can learn this through logic. What's the logic? Hoil, since v'chayev adam ba'adam, v'chayev shur ba'adam. Since there are two parallel laws. There's an obligation, and I can imagine we're talking about skila for the shur that perpetrates the crime of goring. Is it not that the chiyuv exists for one, whether it's an adam, chayev adam ba'adam, right? There's an obligation of death by an adam who kills an adam, and a chiyuv of obligation of death by a shur that kills an adam, right? And ma shechayev adam ba'adam lo shna ben ketanim gedolim. And just as there's no distinction between a person killing a person, whether it's children or adults, therefore logically, also logically now we should mechayev assure, we should obligate an ox that kills an adam, and will make no distinction, lo techalik, will make no distinction whether they were ketanim or gedolim, whether they were youngsters or adults.
Therefore, we don't need the pasuk.
Therefore, we don't need the pasuk. Exactly. Exactly. Okay.
So Ode,
So okay. So before we move on to the Ode, so the logic is more or less clear.
Yeah.
Here. Now let's take a look at a few Rashis here. Catch up with the Rashis. Hello dinu, right?
Hello Dinhu.
You read
Is
that
it
like
not logical?
Yeah, you read that like as a sort of a question. Hello dinu, is it not logical?
Velo tzarich kara.
Oh, and you don't need the
You don't need
pasuk.
the pasuk.
I mean,
like
if you have your
Rav just said.
logic, right? If you have your logic to teach you this, you don't need the pasuk to teach you this, and you can use the pasuk. You can use that verse to teach you something else, right?
Ho'il v'chayev, since he's liable, misa for death, be'adam in the case of a man, ha'choreg, the killer,
Kills.
Yeah,
es
the one who killed the
adam, the killer of the person,
right. Who's chayav misa?
the killer of the person,
Right. When
the person who kills a person, or the dox who kills a
well,
person.
this is talking about Adam now. So misa ba'adam ahoreg es Adam. There's a death penalty by a person who kills a person.
Right.
Right? The perpetrator who kills a person, he's chayiv, he's obligated to die. Yeah.
But it doesn't say what.
Well, okay, that's the actual what Misa will get is another story. Yeah.
The chayev, and he's obligated. Now, is this the same chayev that he's saying
No,
twice?
look at the Rashi. Look at the Rashi. The chayiv what? The first chayiv was
Misa shor v'adam.
right. The first chayiv was Misa ba'adam,
Right.
the killing of a person.
Right.
And here there's v'chayev Misa shor ba'adam. Now here's the death that's caused by a shur in killing a person.
Right. So Rashi's telling us that there's an obligation for death in the case of a person killing a person, and there's an obligation for death in the case of a shor killing a person.
Yes.
Lo, I don't think we did this. Lo hilkach. I don't think we got
No,
this yet.
this is something else now. Okay, so that's our logic so far. Okay, so therefore, if our logic will remain undisputed, right? So as Rashi said, lo tzarich kra, we won't need the pasuk to teach us this, and we'll be able to learn out the limud. We'll learn out something else from the pasuk. What that'll be is another story. But we won't need this pasuk to teach us what we were trying to teach us. That there's no difference ashore killing a child or an adult. The halacha will be the same. Okay.
Ba'od kol v'chomer hu. And furthermore, it's a kol v'chomer. Uma, and just as Adam, in the case of a person killing a person, shalo asa bo kitanim kigidolim, that we don't make in it
Distinction.
a minor like an adult.
There's no distinction between a minor and an adult.
No distinction.
Lo tichalik. There's no distinction between a minor and an adult.
Which word?
Tichalik.
I don't see the word tikalik. Shalo asa bo kitanim kidolim.
Okay, good, fine, good, okay, good.
Oh, it's in the next part. Okay. Chayav bo al hakitanim kidolim. There's a liability in it for minors like adults. So what did it say? It said, in the case a person kills another person, we did not make minors like adults.
In terms of the halach, the law for the minors is not like that of adults.
I guess when a little kid kills somebody, he doesn't get anything. It's at their age.
Right.
But not like an adult.
Right.
That's what it's saying here, right?
So again, so v'od, kol v'chomer, it's a kol v'chomer.
Okay, I see.
Uma adam ba'adam, shelo osu bo ketanim ki gedolim, chayev ala ketanim ki gedolim. And by the death of a person, right? By death of a person, we don't make children to be like adults. We don't like minors to be obligated like adults are obligated, right? And chayev ala ketanim ki gedolim. But a person who's going to kill a child is obligated just as if they were adults.
So in other words, even though we are more lenient when a minor kills somebody,
Right.
we're not more lenient when an adult kills a minor.
Good.
Right.
So if that's the
Okay.
case, that we're lenient when it comes to a katan killing an adult, but nevertheless, when a katan's killed, we're not lenient, right? So
Sure.
now, why sure? Go ahead.
Sure, but Adam, when an ox kills a person, she'asa bo kitanim kigidolim, that it is made the same for an adult and a minor. So in other words, we don't make a leniency for a minor ox, like we do for a minor human.
Well, when a ox will kill a minor, right?
Then when a baby
No.
ox kills.
Oh yeah.
When a baby ox kills,
There's no difference between a...
in other words, a kitanim, a baby shore,
kills.
is like an adult shore.
So sure. He's killed.
Sure,
He's,
cut. Okay,
he's killed
okay,
like
sure,
an
cut. You're right.
So
you're
we
right.
don't make a leniency in the case of a minor shore, like we do with a minor person.
Okay.
Eino din, is it not logical, shechayev, that we obligate al hakitanim kidolim, that we obligate a minor shore that kills a person, just like we would obligate an adult shore that kills a person. So we don't need to say boy or girl, because it's in the kol v'chomer, it's obvious.
Okay, so let's just review that again. So what's this next kol v'chomer?
Kavachomer. Yeah.
Yeah, let's review that.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachman, you want to review that for us?
Okay, in the Gemora, right?
Yeah, start v'od. V'od kol v'chomer.
The word kavachomer. Ma adam ba'adam. Person killing another person. Shlosa bo k'tim gedolim. That didn't make the child that kills like an adult that kills. The katan that kills would be patur, and the gadol would be chayav. Chayav bo, nonetheless, chayav bo al k'tim gedolim. He's obligated on killing a child or an adult, like a child and adult. Doesn't matter whether it's
The
killing.
gadol
No,
is
it's Gadol's killing a
an
child
adult
and adult.
that kills either a katan or a gadol is
It's
chayiv,
chayav.
regardless of who he kills.
He kills.
Right?
Shor ba'adam, Yesabo k'tim gedolim, shor ba'adam, that the shore that's a baby shore that kills will be put to death like a gadol, an adult shore that would kill.
Right. So in comparison, so we have a shore that whether it's a shore that's a katan or a shore that's a gadol. Okay, so we make it asabo katanim kikadon. The small ones are made like just as if they're older ones. Einodin, is it not logical?
No, it is not logical. Shei chayav al k'tim kigolim. Would it be obvious and logical that chayav that he would be liable for killing k'tim golim, adult or an adult or child or an adult?
Okay,
So
so
it's not difficult to hold that kavachomer.
yeah, because it's
Because
going.
we're comparing here.
Yeah, right. The comparisons, they're not exactly parallel comparisons in complete parallelism. That, again, on one hand we have the fact that when an Adam
Adam
is
Gadol.
the perpetrator, right? He's the criminal. When Adam is a criminal, there's no difference if the victim is a katan or a gadol, right? And
No. When the Adam is the criminal, there's no difference whether the perpetrator is a katan or a gadol.
no, there is a difference. If the Adam is a criminal, there's a difference. There is a difference. If he's
If
a
it's a
child,
child or an adult,
right,
there's a
right,
difference.
right. Meaning,
And a person,
Right.
the child will be plucked off the monish
right.
if he kills
If he
somebody.
was the criminal, if he was
Right.
the perpetrator,
An
right?
adult will be chayav.
Elder would chayav,
Now,
right?
sure,
Sure.
he's a baby ox,
Right.
and he kills, and he's chayav skila.
But
So
the
then
first,
he- okay.
but the
Ah.
first case of the kol
If it's a
vachomer is
katan,
talking
it's
about the
not chayav.
perpetrator.
לא חייב. If
A
The-
person is not chayav.
לא חייב.
Okay.
גדול כן חייב.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we say Uma Adam ba'Adam, when you're talking about an Adam who's the criminal, whose
אז אין כל חומר.
victim is a person, right? If a person's a criminal and his victim is a person,
Right?
there's no difference if the victim is a gadol or a katan.
But that's not what it says.
Yeah, Uma
It
Adam
didn't make
ba'Adam,
minors.
shelo osa bo katanim kigedolim, right? So why an Adam, right? We didn't make the katanim like gedolim when he's the criminal. When we're talking about an Adam who's a criminal, there is a difference between a katan and a gadol, right? He's chayiv, right? Al katanim kigedolim. Nevertheless, kigedolim, right? Chayiv al katanim kigedolim.
Right, so we did not make katanim like gedolim.
Right. So you see, when it comes to victims, which are human victims, when you're dealing with human victims, there's a difference if the criminal is a gadol or a katan,
Right.
right?
We talk about the criminal all the time, right?
Right, the criminal.
Both of the,
Right.
on the short also.
The axis,
criminal. He's also the criminal.
the kuda is the criminal,
Right.
right? So the criminal. So by Adam, when the Adam is the criminal, right? There's a difference. If the criminal is a katan or a gadol, right? But when the criminal is a shore,
Both of them are chayav.
yeah, there's no difference between
You missed the
the
step.
victim. Yeah.
Chayav bo al hakatan kigedolim. The murderer is liable equally for a katan or a gadol.
Yeah, well, again, Uma Adam ba'Adam shelo osa katanim kigedolim chayav bo ala katanim kigedolim. Meaning, when it comes to an Adam being a criminal against another person,
Right.
we didn't make katanim that there should be gadolim, that katanim should be like adults, that they're chayav on both katanim and gadolim. I mean, katan's not chayav on anything,
Right.
right? So you see by Adam, who's a katan, he's not chayav at all. He's only chayav as a gadol.
Right. He's the perpetrator.
And there's no difference between katanim and gadolim. In contrast, you have a shur, right?
Right.
If the shur is going to be a killer, a criminal, right? Then
there's
we
no
didn't
difference.
make any difference between it's being a minor or an adult, or big or small.
Right.
Eino din, is it not logical that we should be chayiv the shur whether it's katanim or gedolim?
But the shore is the perpetrator.
Right.
That's a kavachomer?
Because I think I'm getting a little bit now. That by Adam, that a katan, right, is not obligated neither on katanim or gedolim,
Yeah.
right?
Like only an adult is.
Right, only an adult.
Right.
By an adult, only an adult is obligated on gedolim or katanim, and a
Right.
katan is completely
Right.
exempt,
Right.
right? So sure, where we make the katanim like the gedolim, that they
Like
chayav
them.
on everything,
On everything,
right? Isn't it logical they should be chayav
On
on
Katarim
katanim
Gedolim.
and gedolim
When they're the perpetrator.
when they're
Yeah.
the perpetrator, right?
So that would be a kavachomer.
That would be a kol v'chomer. So again, let's just try and lock it into place what the kol v'chomer is. Okay. By Adam, if the perpetrator is a gadol, they're chayav on everything,
Right.
right? If the perpetrator is a katan, they're exempt from everything,
Right.
right? Now, in contrast, a shur, which there is no distinction between in the perpetrator, whether there's a gadol or it's a katan, right? And therefore it should be chayav on everything. It should be
Even
chayav
more
on
so.
everything.
Even
more
more
should
so.
be chayav on
Chayav
everything.
on Ketanim Gimlim.
Right.
Right.
Alright. That's the second. Alright. Okay.
Again, we didn't. If by a, let's try and focus just on the katan, a katan of an adam and a katan of a shur. Let's just focus on that. Leave the gadol. If a katan of an adam, right, is exempt, and exempt from everything, right? So a katan of a shur, which is chayiv,
Chayav.
shouldn't it be chayiv on everything? I think that's what's going on here. Makes sense with
Yeah.
you? Not 100% yet, huh? Hold on.
What is he chayav of what? What is he chayav?
The shur.
Let's discuss this.
On what?
Okay, let's work through Rashi's. Let's work through Rashi's. We can review the more after we see the Rashi's. Second line in Rashi, Lo tichalekes ein nargim katanim u'gedolim. This is shur ba'adam. This is shur ba'adam. It's not exactly Lo tichalekes ein katanim u'gedolim. Okay.
It's ma adam ba'adam. The
Yeah,
last line.
that's last line, right? the
That's
last line.
Tatzvicha v'chomer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ma adam ba'adam. שלא עשה רוצח קטן כגדול. It's run on Rashi.
Good.
מה גם באדם שלא עשה רוצח קטן כגדול, כי הקטן זה not חייב במיתה. יש פטור. גדול תכתיב ואיש כי יכה איש ולא קטן. ואיש is not specifying an איש. הגדול כי יכה איש ולא קטן. It's not talking about a katan. Only an ish is chayav on mita if he kills a person, but not a katan.
Alright, so based on the pasuk, you have a Ritzeh, katan is like a gadol, right? Ki ish ka ish v'lo katan. One second, I see ish ki ka ish v'lo katan.
Only a ish she'akeh ish lo katan. It's using the word ish, not a child.
Right, the ish has to be the one who's the perpetrator.
Right.
Right, so Ritzeh katan, then we don't make a Ritzeh katan like a gadol. That's not what we meant. It's a run on Rashi.
Run on
because
Rashi,
if
yeah.
you don't run it on,
Right.
then it's going to be confusing.
Right.
So you have to read it all together. Ma adam ba'adam shelo asa Ritzeh katan ki gadol.
Good word, yeah.
Right, just as by adam, that the pasuk, as we're going to see in a moment, does not equate a killer who's a katan with a killer who's a gadol. Right, they're not the same. Because it says in the pasuk, "Tiksiv v'ishki yika ish." The ish, when a person, I mean an adult,
Right.
smites a person,
As opposed to a katan,
and not a katan.
not a katan.
It has to be an ish to be obligated,
Right.
not a katan.
That's why I use the word ish.
Exactly.
Chayabo al ne'ergin ketanim kigadolim. He is Chayabo is liable al ne'ergin on when the ones that he killed, whether they're children or they're adults.
Right. So as long as the perpetrator is an adult, he's obligated whether they were katanim or gedolim. He was obligated katanim just as if they were gedolim.
Yeah.
In contrast, we have shur. Next Rashi.
Sure. Sure.
Next page.
Yes, please. Top Rashi there.
שור באדם שעשה, לא שור קטן, הורג. שור באדם שעשה בו קטנים. שור קטן, ההורג, כשור גדול, ההורג. A baby ox is like considered like an adult ox when he's killing. Shor gadol she'hareg.
Right.
The ha shor ben yomo kui shor. Why is that? Why is Katan considered as an adult? Because it says the ha shor ben yomo kui shor. That a shor ben yomo when it's born is called a shor.
Right.
There's no baby
What's
shor.
Yomo mean?
A shor ben yomo, a shor who's a day old. Ben yomo,
Oh,
a day old. Right, a shor that's 1 day old is called a shor.
As opposed to a person, as a baby, is not called an adult.
Not called an ish.
Not called an ish.
Not called an ish until he's 13, right? That's when he's called an ish.
Shor ben yomo. Kui shor. Dichtiv, the psuk. Shor or kesef ki ulad. Shor, it's already called a shor or kesef or sheep when it's born already.
Right.
It's already called a shor or sheep.
What's a calf?
An actual sheep.
What's a calf?
A calf. Why is it called a calf? Why is it called an egel? Why is it called an egel?
Right.
Because it's less than a
We do
year.
not free. We do not free.
No, you're right. It's in terms of
The name.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good question.
In terms of korbanot, maybe it's a difference.
korbanos, because then the Torah's makbid has to be a ben bakar, has to be a year. Ben shenatayim has to be a 2-year-old. Since the Torah is giving us limitations on how old it can be, so at that point because the Torah starts calling it egel or ben bakar or ben shenatayim.
So that's for sacrifice purposes,
In general, right? In
but
general,
not for general purposes.
right.
It's called. It's still called a shor.
That's a shvach.
Maybe a calf. Maybe a short, a little baby
You
short.
learn.
Can give a sense to somebody kill somebody and a katan lo yichol. I don't know. Maybe. But a katan also can take a knife when he's 5 years old and take stab somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but
I've never been next to a calf before, but they're probably bigger than a big dog, no? I mean,
They're much bigger than dog.
yeah, you know, so you get a zetz from a. They don't have horns at that point.
No.
I think.
No.
You can
But
step on a baby,
Yeah, you
kill you.
can still take a bite out of it, gotta give a kick.
Animals are very strong,
Well,
amazingly strong.
they just have more mass. Just the mass.
Yeah,
But even proportionate to their mass,
Yeah, I
they're
guess.
amazingly strong.
Yeah, well, I guess they have that's some gives them certain colors.
You can walk. Yeah.
1 second, I just want to see 1 second.
He claims in Nafshi that it's a name we call like that.
Yeah,
It's
look,
natural.
look, it's a pasuk. The pasuk says it's a pasuk in Vayikra, right? Ashur
Ishki
keves
ake-
yilda, right? Ashur keves ki yilda when it's
Born.
born.
It's called a shor or a kesef.
Right.
It's already named a
Oh,
shor.
when it's born.
Ki ulad, when it's
It's
born.
called
it's
ashur
already
when
shor.
it's born. Ashur when it's born. Now 1 second. Samit a base. Just want to see something. Similar to, well, okay, if you want to jump over, take a look here on Samech Hey Amid Beis. I don't know if you can go that far in A. 65, page 65, Samech Hamid Beis. We have the last short line there too. There's short lines and wide lines. The last short line says here, have the Gemora there? Amar Rabbi Eloi. Rama Rabbi Eloi. Yeah. Would like to read a bit?
אמר רבי אלוהי,
Yeah.
גנב טלית, ונשא עיין, עגל, ונשא שור, נשא שינוי.
Biyado.
בידו,
V'kanu.
קנו.
Okay, let's stop there for a moment. Amar Rabbi Eloi. Rabbi Eloi said, a person who stole a tleh, right, a lamb, the Nasa'il became a ram. Let's say Egel, he stole a calf, the Nasa Shur became a shur. Nasa Shinu Biyado, this growing up was accomplished within his domain after he stole it, V'kanu, and he's acquired it. Right? Let's see further.
וקנאו טבח, ומכר שלו, והוא טובח, שלא היה מוכר.
So you know that there's a din of Dalad V'hei, right? Kefil Dalad V'hei, right? So if he stole the tleh and it became an idol, or he stole the egel and became a shur, and then after it became a egel, or it became a ayil, after it became a shur, or after it became an ayil, then he shechted it, right? Or he stole it, in which case it would normally be chayav dalad v'hei, right? No, we say shalohu mocher. It's what he was already, what was shechted or stolen, and it would be patur from dalad v'hei, right?
Because there was a shnoi,
Yeah, we'll see. The
becomes his.
Hold on, yeah, let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Esvei Rabbi Chanina.
איזה רב חינן, רב עלייה, גנב טלית, ונשא עיל, עגל, ונשא שור, משלם תשלומים כפל. ותשלומים בארבע וחמישה, כעין גנב.
So he says, he's asking you a question. He says, I'll give you a brisa that says like your case, but differently in the halacha. Gun of tleh, nasa'il, he stole a lamb and it became a ram. Egel, he stole a calf, and nasa shur became an ox. Mishalim tashlumi kefil, and tashlumi arba chamisha, kein shaganu. He's going to pay the double price, or the quadrupled, or the fifth time price, kein shaganu, at the time it was at the time of the theft.
So he pays kilo, it's gadol already.
Kein shaganu, meaning he has to pay dalad v'hei, but he pays at the time that he stole the tleh, so he pays the tleh's price, kaful or dalad v'hei. The kein shaganu, means the time of the theft.
When did he pay kefil? When did he pay above his chamisha?
If he sold it or shecht it, then he pays kefil, he pays stamazoi, but the dalad v'hei is if it's shechted, mocher or tabach or mocher.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, let's see what happens. Amrulay, Isak adaita. If you think kinui b'shinui, that he's koina, he's acquiring it with the shinui, right? Have it there for the third line, the end of the third line.
Okay. Isak adaita, if you would have thought, kanya, the shinui, the kinyan is making a difference or a change in it.
That he is koina b'shinui, meaning the fact that he stole the tleh, and a year later, right, it became an egel, right? So he's koina b'shinui in that change of
became an egel.
grew up, reached maturity.
Isn't an egel a baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he stole the tleh, and it became an ayil, or I made a mistake. Sorry, stole an egel, and it became a shur. Right? So it's now changed. It was originally a egel, and now it's a shur. So if you think that the acquisition occurs through the change, right? It goes through puberty, so to speak, for animals, whatever that might be called, right? If that's the case, if you think he's acquiring it through change, then a mai mishalei, why should he pay daled v'hei? Shlo tava, shahu mocher. It's his that he's shechted, and it's his that he sold.
What does that mean at the end? What does it mean? It's his.
Meaning,
He stole it.
He stole it, right? So,
And it was a little calf.
yes.
Yeah.
Now it's now an eagle. Right? It's now a shore. It's now a shore. It's now a shore. Yeah. It's now a shore. It's now a shore. So it's a big animal now. It used to be a little cute little calf running around. Now it's a shore. It's a real. So it's not what it used to be, right? Since it's not. So that's a shinui. That's a change. If you say the change will make him acquire it, because now what he stole is not around anymore. So what is in his possession is not stolen goods anymore. It's something which he owns as well. Now, okay, the payments and all that's what we're discussing here. Whether he's acquiring it through the change. Okay? Through reaching maturity, does he acquire it through reaching maturity? So if you tell me that he's acquiring through a change, amai, why, mishalem, why should he pay? Shlohu. Go
It's
ahead.
his.
Yes?
Shlohu.
Tavach.
Tovach.
Shlohu.
Shlohu.
Mocher.
Mocher.
It's his that he shechted,
Or he sold.
or it's his what he sold. So what's the answer to that? Amalei, and he goes back and gives him an answer.
Well, Ve'ela, rather, my shinui lokani.
Elamai, what do you want to suggest? Shinui lokani?
Okay.
You want to tell me that a shinui is not going to make an acquisition?
My Michelin can shiganav.
So, yeah. So if that's the case, why should he pay at the time of the Geneva? Right?
At the time of Geneva, he was still young.
That's right. So if he's not making an acquisition, right?
Right.
So he shouldn't pay at the time of the Geneva, right? Because what is he shechting now? He's shechting the nignav's shore. It's now a shore. It used to be a calf. Now it's a shore. And so what's he shechting? He's shechting the owner's shore. So he shouldn't pay the time when it was stolen, at the time when it was a calf. He should now pay what he's shechting, which is it's a shore, which is a lot more money.
Chanina ben Dosa.
So yeah.
That somebody told him to watch Kwasim or something like that. Chickens.
He found that they were innovative. They were for that.
And they had eggs, and then they had chicken, and he gave everything back. That was everything his at the end, right?
Right. That was going to see this, perhaps, because everything, all the generation, he sold it, and he sold the egg, the chickens, he got goats, and
But at the end, he gave it back to him.
everything, right. Yeah. So that's what we're suggesting. The main point is what's being discussed here is the transformation from a young animal to a mature animal. Is that considered a transformation, right? That will also transfer ownership, right? I mean, the guy who says, look, what did I steal? Right? If he steals diamonds, he stole diamonds, and he's still diamonds, right? I says, look, what do you want from me? I stole the calf, and now it's a shore, right?
That's a story like Chanina ben Dosa. He stole eggs.
Yeah.
And now it's chickens.
That's chickens,
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's Hasidus, that's not the halacha that he
But
gives
that's
back.
the same game that he's talking about.
No, we're talking about his obligation. This is not his Hasidus. We're not saying that the thief is obligated to go beyond the letter of the law. The thief is obligated to do the minimum, whatever the law says.
No, but you're true. But what
But
our
he has to
Gemara
pay. He has
is,
to pay just for the eggs. He would have to pay for the chickens. He would have to pay for the eggs.
yeah, but the question is you can't burn the candle at both ends. Meaning, if you want to say that there's a change here, you say that there's a change. If there's no change, there's no change. But it has to be fair for all parties, right? If the thief, right, now has in his possession a full-fledged shore, and he shechs it. Now, whose shore is he shechting? If it's a change, right, so it's his shore which he's shechting, and he should only have to pay, right, as it was originally, what he stole. What he's shechting now is his, so you can't obligate him in Dalet V'Hei, because he's shechting something which belongs to him. If it's not a shinui, right, so then, what do you look at it right now? You look at it as it was at the time of the theft, right? So now the Gemara takes
No, if it's not a shinui, then we look at it now. It's
Oh, right,
he's-
yeah, right,
he's
right. If
shechting
it's not a
his
shinui, was he shechting? He's shechting something which is theft, right? Yeah. The Gemara now goes further. Take another look here, right? Ve'elamai shinui lokona. If you're going to suggest that a shinui is not going to make a transfer in possession, right? I mean, even though it's changed, it's now a shore, not like it used to be a calf, but that change is not going to make any change in possession,
If you want to say that,
right? Then why am I?
Amai, then why Mishalem Kain Shiganav? Why is it paid like it was at the time of the Geneva?
Why does he pay for the calf, the value of the calf, instead of paying for the value of the
Right, because now what is he shechting now? He's shechting the shore, and that shore belongs to the owner, the original owner. So he should pay for his shore. So Amai Mishalim came to Ghana. Mishalim Kihashte should pay according to what it's worth now, which is a shore. So Amalei said back.
Well, they Kihashta now Hainu Tama. The reason the law Mishalem Mishum Tamarle Torah the Shur can Nagvei Mimcha.
Let leave that. That's
So what does it come out of it when Al Gemora says, where is a shore a shore? It's a baby, or does it go through changes?
okay. So what do we see? We'll hold on to this Gemara. So what do we see from this Gemara so far? We see that we have to acknowledge that animal matures, right? Animals definitely mature. There's no question about the fact that everyone understands that it's born. It's a calf, and it grows up and becomes a shore, a cow. A calf is not a cow, and a cow is not a calf. A calf is born, and a cow is when it matures, right? The question is, does that change constitute a transfer of ownership? Okay, in terms of the specific halacha here about thefts and payments of dal and v'hei. Okay, that's what's no here over here.
What's Dalet Hey? That's exactly what.
Dal, in Parsha Mishpatim, we'll get to it in two more Parshas. Yeah, Parsha V'Sholach, then we have Parsha Yisro, Parsha Mishpatim. It'll be one of the open psukim we'll be reading about in Parsha Mishpatim. Person steals something, right? So if he steals something, this is only in reference to a seh or a shur. Meaning, if he steals a seh, a lamb or a sheep, or he steals a cow, then he has to pay kefil, double, right? If he shechs it, and he sells the meat and all that, or he sells it, then he has to pay daled v'hei. He has to be paying quadruple or even 5 times more than the value. Right? Like he cannot. Like he cannot. Right? So there, in that case, right, we see that he's obligated. But let's say there was a change in between the time that he did the theft and the time that he did the shchita. So now it depends. Do we go back to the original state as it was, or we look at it at the state that it is at the time of the shchita or the mechira? That's basically what the Rosen is describing for us. So now,
But George, one more thing to say is that if at the time that he shechs it,
right,
he is considered to be the owner,
right,
then he doesn't pay dollar the head.
right.
If at the time he checked it, he's not considered to be the owner, then he does pay dollar the head. That's the
That's
focus, right?
what, yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, in reference to our Gemora, right? Take a look.
Back to our Gemara?
No. Take a look where we're still over there in Samit Hayamid base. Maski Flora Rav Zera. And the Gemora continues on a bit, and now there's a question from Rav Zera, right? We'll have it there? Okay.
Where is this?
Everybody should dance.
Look at the time.
It's just a little bit further down from where we were.
Yeah.
Look for on the right side.
Samachei Amud Bet.
Amalei. Show the Amalei.
Amorli.
Okay, underneath that.
Ashta.
First word of the line is
Dida.
Ditcha.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Matkifla. Right.
מתקיף לה, רבי זרע, ונקנקו בשינוי השם. אמר רבא,
Oh, so okay, one step. So he says, "Kinyininu b'shinui Hashem." There'll be an acquisition. There'll be a transfer of ownership through a shinui Hashem, meaning the name of the thing. Meaning, in general, we have when someone steals something, right? This change, meaning there are many times that the object that's stolen, as I said, remains the same. Diamonds, he stole diamonds, and diamonds remain diamonds. Now, but let's say, imagine it's a diamond, he ground it up and sold it as diamond dust. It's very hard to, steals a 180 carat diamond, it's hard to get rid of that, right? Known in the world. Right, but if he grinds it down to diamond dust, right? So you can pass it out and here and there and whatever. So is the diamond dust considered the diamond that he stole? Right? Is that that's called a shinui maisa, right? That's a change in the actual thing, a change in the by doing an action to it. It could be considered a shinui Hashem, a shinui a change in the name. Let's say he stole wood.
What, he made
Wood,
a chair out of it?
made a chair. Let's say he stole grain. He stole flower seeds, and now they're pomegranates. They're what? Penunias. Whatever they're. Penunias. Whatever they were, right?
That is.
Whatever kind of flower, whatever it was. He stole flower seeds, and now he planted them, and now he's selling them in little pots. There's little flowers, right? Right? So that's a shinui shame, it's a shinui ma'isa as well. Right? So that it's nogea when you for mitzvahs also, right? A person who steals a lulav, right? Steals a lulav, right? So it's very hard to be yotzi with lulav. It has to be shulcha. It has to be shulcha. So to be shulcha, it's very hard. So let's say a guy stole wheat grains, right? Wheat grains. And he ground them down, and he made matzahs out of them. He added water, he put flour, made it into flour, added water, baked it, right? That's a shinui shame, it's a shinui maisa, right? It could be that it's his, right? It could be that it's his. Hashem is not happy with such matzahs, right? It's a question where you can make a brach on it, but in a certain extent it's still shulcha. Shulcha, meaning in deraisa, he'd be yotzi, right? He'd be yotzi deraisa, right? But you can't make a bracha because Hashem is disgusted with such a mitzvah like that. But he took the grains and the person stole them, and he ground them up. That's a shinui maisa. So now, first it was called grain, and now it's called flour. And by adding the water and baking it, now it's called matzah, right? So you have shinui maisa, shinui yeshem. So all these things affect the ownership and affect the obligations of the thief. Okay.
Right.
Now, what, again, we're going back to our point, what about if he stole a calf and now he grew up to be a
Cow.
cow? Is that a shinui shame?
Seems like it.
Oh, let's take,
It will never be his, because the shore is a shore, but it's a baby or it's an adult.
so let's look at the Gemara's continuation. Go ahead. Right? It says, Maski Flora of Zer, Kinyaninu, this Shinui Hashem, let him be acquiring it, this calf that he stole, and now it's a sure, let him acquire with a change in its name. Amarava.
Amarava, shor ben yomo kushor.
Hey, what's going on? You want to say there's a change in name? There's no change in name.
It's inherently a shore, whether it's a baby or not,
Right?
or an adult. They're inherent. Kui shor, aisle ben yomo, kui aisle. In a ram, baby, a day old is called a ram.
Good.
Shor ben yomo kru is shor. And a shor, what's he saying here? Shor ben yomo,
He's quoting the
Sure.
pasuk.
al ben yomo kru is ayel. Shor ben yomo kru is shor, dichtiv. Is when shor or kesef or ez ki yulad. When it's born, it's yulad, it's already called a shor kesef, an ez. Al ben yomo kru ayel. A ram, the day old is called the ram. Dichtiv. Ve'elei tzoncha lo achalti. Said right, Yaakov told to Lavan, I think.
Yeah, I believe so, right.
Tzoncha lo achalti.
Mhm.
Elim hu.
Elim hu de lo achol.
Lo achal.
We make a deal. He didn't eat the rams. Ochel kvasi, maybe he ate the lambs.
V'sim achal. Ela lo shmamina.
Elalav shmamina.
Lav shmamina. Ayel ben yomo. Kui ayel. Komakom. Okay.
Okay,
Ayel
so
ben yomo kui
yeah.
ayel.
Okay, I guess we'll have to stop here.
יש כאלה.
Okay, well, either I or Rabbi Levitt will get back to one of these two Gemoras, but we're still in the middle of getting to understand that Kol V'chomer.
Okay.
Okay, but that's dealing with your question about Shur Ben Yomo is Shur. Okay, thank you.
Rabbi, thank you so much.
Thank you.